Hiya, it's Ali here, Simply Angelic Crafts. I'm coming on today to do a quickish tutorial on this card that I popped into Craft Addiction UK group the other day. Again, I had a few people ask me if I'd show them how I made it. So basically, this one is using the Craft Addiction butterfly dies. No, it's not the butterfly dies, it's the dragonfly dies, which are these beautiful set here. Now I haven't taken them off the little bits because I find that I'll just run them through and I'll just do loads and loads and loads of butterflies. So I haven't taken them off the connectors. I've just left them in and popped them in a folder. I'm also going to be using this to create the circle, which is the scallop dies from Craft Addiction UK as well. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what I did. So let's begin. So I've got myself some watercolour card, and what I did with the scallop die was I took, this is actually 5x5, size 5x5 acetate. Now you can use a piece of 5x5 card, piece of 5x5 packing tape, packaging, plastic packaging. I've even used, the Polly Pocket plastic. It's just to give you a circle and a bit of slip. But like I say, you can use a, some copy of paper, whatever you've got, it doesn't matter, you can make it work. And so I've used the second non-scalloped die, which is here, and just created a little circle. So it's kind of thinking outside of the box of what else you can use your dies for as well. So what I do is I put a little bit of tape on the acetate. I'm going to centralise that into my piece of paper that I'm using to make the card, and then I'm going to just tip that down. So on this card I've used, what have I used? Let's have a look. I did write it down. I have used, I've used broken china and twisted citron on this one. Okay, just so that you can have the colours that, if you wanted to replicate this card. So on this one, I've already cut out some of the butterflies. I'll keep saying butterflies, it's dragonflies, and a little box of bits and pieces here. And I usually just create backgrounds and then, run them through and create some dragonflies. So I get some gorgeous different types of colours going into it. So I'll use solid colours as well, or I'll do it in white and I'll use distress inks to colour them up. But I've got more videos coming that'll show the different things that I do in the next few weeks. So yeah, I've got my little box of dragonflies there, but I have picked 3 that I want to use. So I'm using these 3 here. Okay, and what I usually do with the butterflies is just to give them a little bit of a punch. I'll just use the Distress Oxide. Now I use black soot, and I gently just give it a little bit of a shadow, just so it stands out on the on the background. So I should have done this earlier, but as per, you know what I'm like. So I just whiz round, give it a little bit of a, it's just to give it shadow, it doesn't have to be in every crevice, just a little bit. On the main bits that pop out, just pop that wing down. Okay, so no, I'm not gentle with it. I just whiz round and whiz the tails out of the way, and there we go. No dragonflies were harmed during this video, just saying. Okay, so I've got those there, and to kind of combine those colours, I've picked Squeeze Lemonade, Kitsch Flamingo, and Broken China in the Distress Ink range to create the background. So I've popped on the circle. I'm going to go with the lightest colour first, which is obviously the yellow. Okay. I'm just going to take the brush to the cellophane or whatever you're using and come off that rather than, start in the middle. So And I gently just build up some colour onto there. Okay. Then I'm going to pop the broken china. And I'm going to start at this side. And of course, once I blend the blue and the yellow, I'm going to get a green as well. So I'm not overly worried about that. It all blends. Okay. So if you look there, you get a nice little circle. I've noticed I've got a little chip there. So I may have to do this one again. But it doesn't matter, we can make that work. And then I'm going to grab my pink ink and then just a little bit. I'm only going to go for a little flash of pink rather than, you know, a massive. Okay, and just a little bit in the middle there. So I'll grab my yellow again. I'll just go over the yellow. And then the blue. Just to deepen that. Okay, so once I'm happy with what I've laid down colour wise, I'm going to do the usual where I just give it a little bit of a spritz and let that do its thing. Grab some craft towel and then wipe that off. Okay, it's easy. And then you've got a really lovely, let's just lift that up. You've got a really lovely circle there. It doesn't matter that it's uneven. I'm not bothered about that. That was probably me running it through and being impatient and pulling it out. Right, now then, what I also want to do is grab some stamps and some ink and just do some light stamping inside that circle. So what I've got here is, this set is off Amazon. I don't know who it's by, it's just, I think it's a company called Globland, and I bought them on Amazon. So, and the cheapest chips, and it's just to have backgrounds, mixed media backgrounds. So, I'll just pop that down. Oopsie daisy. Okay. So they're just going to be coming in off the edge. Just have a look inside there, just like so. Then what I will do is I shall grab, I have in this actual set, it's got a little dragonfly in it. So I'm going to do a couple of little butterflies. So I'm going to have one coming there, one coming up there. And then just to take it over like so, just so it's not sort of a complete circle, that's bits going out like that. I'm just going to have them going over the edge, and then I'm going to grab another stamp with a little bit more script on, and again just to take it into that white space, just like so. Okie dokie. And I'm going to use this postscript. I'm going to pop that in the middle there, a little bit up there. Okay, so I'm going to call that done. So how is everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Thank you again for all your views on my videos. Really, really appreciate it. And as I say, I just set my camera up when I'm doing a card or a project, and I just see what comes out at the end of it. Nothing's always planned. Some things are, some things aren't. So what you see is what you get, in all its glory, so to speak. Okay, so we've got that down, and now what I'm going to do, what I did on this one, I actually used a black uni pin, and I did an edging round it, like a, you know, drawing a line round and doing little squigglies. So I'm going to do that again, only I'm going to get a finer pen this time, and all I do is just a squiggly line with a very light hand. And that's what, when you've got little bits of areas where it didn't just quite cut out, well, it doesn't matter because it's just gone over that now and you wouldn't know. So I'm just doing a second line around there. Okay, and now you've got, it's a little bit more defined in there like so. Okay, so that is that side. Now, if you wanted to, you can do some little splats using your distress ink, incorporating the colours that you've used. So all I would do is just a little bit of ink on a plastic sheet or a plastic board, whatever you've got. And I find it's a lot easier to use one of these little fan brushes. Just grab my water, and then I'm just going to gently do a few splats. I don't want to overface it with splats. Okay, so that's with the pink at that side, and then a bit of blue at the bottom, just to kind of, it makes your eye go like that, if that makes sense, because there's a little bit, although you're drawn to the centre, you can be drawn out with the little bits of detail as well, which all help the composition. Okay, so once you've done that, I'm just going to dry these little splats off, so just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so that's nice and dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in the dragonflies and work out the areas that I want those to go in. And again, I do work in threes. I think it's kind of gentle on the eye and it doesn't mush your brain up. There's something about working in threes that doesn't make your brain go fuzzy. So anyway, I'm going to pop these down, and then what I've also got is a stamp set I want to put a sentiment on. So I'm thinking of You Are Amazing, I think we'll have. So what I'm going to do to put this sentiment on is use my stamping platform. It just means that it's a little bit more, I'll pop that off, it's a little bit more stable. And if I need to overstamp, I can do it as many times as I want. Okay, so You Are Amazing. So I'm going to pop that over there, like so. I just want to over stamp it onto the actual circle as well, so that it keeps everything sort of joined together. So I'm going to use VersaFine to do that. So let's stamp that up. Okay. And that's not too bad, but I'm going to go over it again because I can, just to deepen it a little bit more. Okie dokie. Let's pop that out. And then I can pop my dragonflies where they need to be. Okay, so I've also got the card base for this as well. So I'm going to grab my Tombow glue, and these are going to get put on here. So it's very you've only got a couple of seconds with this, so as you pop it down, make sure you know that you want it where it's going. I'll pop that down there so you can see the sentiment there nicely. And then all I'll do is just pop the little ones. So pop them there. Put the yellow one here. Okie dokie. So you've got a lovely little card there. So then all that needs to be done is popping the card together. Oh, hang on a minute, I'll tell you what I have forgotten. I've forgotten my gems. So you always have to have gems. Always have to have gems. Right, so get a little tiny one there and one there. There we go. Just finishes it off, I think. Gems on everything. If it's not got a gem on it, it's not fully dressed. So now I'll pop it together. Again, make sure if you're doing it this way with your Tombow that that's ready to go and that you've got it in the right place, because it's not coming up once it's stuck down. Okay, so that's matted nicely onto there, and then finally onto the main card. Again, just make sure it's straight, and down you go. And there you've got a beautiful under 20-minute card once again, which is, as I say, quite similar to this one. So I'll pop them both together, pop them side by side. There we go. And I hope you enjoyed that video, this video. And I hope you have a go yourself at making something. So don't forget, what we used were the dragonfly die cuts. We used the circular non-scalloped die from the scalloped circular die sets. What we've done is we've used a piece of acetate, or whatever, you can use a piece of card, packaging, etc. Pop it on, do your colouring through it, you can spray through it, whatever you want to do, and do through that, and then you can decorate it then exactly how you like. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a brilliant day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.